Senator John Barrasso is his name, from the beautiful state of Wyoming, the Senate GOP conference chair, much more. Senator, good to have you. It did seem to be a weird thing to focus on today, taking no, versions to the president here. There are far bigger, more pressing worries for average Americans, like their own deficits, right?
Well, that's absolutely right, Neil. When you take a look at people and how their lives are going, people feel they are falling further behind because they can't keep up. Even if they have a raise, they're not keeping up with the expenses of daily living. And they feel stuck, they feel stressed, they feel squeezed. And that's why 9 out of 10 Americans say that their biggest concern is inflation. That's what they're living with. When President Trump left office, inflation was at 1.8%. Now we're at 8.5%. So from less than 2 to over 8. And then we're looking at now a stagnant economy from the numbers that came out last Friday with this roaring inflation. And you and I remember back Jimmy Carter's stagflation in the 70s. That's what we're looking at now under President Joe Biden.
I'm way too young to remember those days, Senator, but no, actually, I remember them quite well. But let me ask you a little bit about that here, because the president seemed to intimate that part of what's going on with these declining deficits is less spending. So I'm thinking to myself, if the message is, you pull back the spigot, you improve the inflation situation, then maybe that should be a reminder going forward. The best way to deal with this is to put down the spending shovel.
Well, that's absolutely right. That's what put us in this position in the first place. Larry Summers talked about that last year with their so-called rescue plan, trillions of dollars of unneeded
You're talking about Bill
spending.
Clinton's former Treasury Secretary. He's been quite critical of this, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
because we saw this coming, and the president dismissed it first, then he just ignored the whole thing, denied that it was happening, but the American people were living it every day, and that's what the problem is right now, Neil. The American people feel that this president has ignored their real needs, whether it's inflation, whether it's the crisis at the border. I think the president is focused on the wrong things. And I'm from Wyoming, an energy state. We know we can produce energy in a clean, affordable way, but the president doesn't want us to be able to produce American energy. So he came out boldly, killed the Keystone XL pipeline, stopped oil and gas exploration. And according to the law of supply and demand, people see the fact that we're not producing American energy enough. Prices in Wyoming this last weekend were $4 a gallon. It costs more money, therefore, to transport product from the farm to the market and from other places to rural areas of Wyoming. So people look at this president and say he has let them down and he's not focused on their concerns.
Senator, while I have you here, if we get to the bottom of who leaked this draft of a Supreme Court opinion on Roe v. Wade, what do you think should happen to the person?
Well, I don't know who did it. This is the first time that there's been such a leak. The Chief Justice called it a betrayal, and I think that the court will make a decision of what to do when they find out who this person is. The bottom line is not one Democrat has condemned it. The Democrats have jumped on this for 2 reasons. One is they want to change the topic from immigration, from the soaring inflation. They want to get off of the things that are so unpopular about this president. The other thing is they want to undermine the integrity of the Supreme Court. Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders came out almost immediately calling for an elimination of the filibuster so they could stack the Supreme Court with 4 more liberal justices, adding more floor to the court.
I think they were looking to handle this legislatively, to handle this, and the filibuster would allow them more to do this than not.
They have a very liberal agenda that they're trying to do with eliminating the filibuster, and that includes
so you don't think that's going
voting
anywhere?
rights, it's the border.
A couple of Democrats don't think it's going anywhere, and you don't think it's going anywhere.
No, but the Democrats have had this ongoing history of trying to undermine the integrity of the court, stack the court, get the rulings they want, intimidate judges, bully judges. And, there's now a website with maps of how to get to the homes of the 6 justices that are Republican justices, if you will, appointed by Republican presidents, all in an effort to intimidate and try to influence the outcome. And I think that's how this leak occurred.
Yeah, it is dangerous, to put it mildly. Senator, thank you very, very much. John Barrasso, speaking of dangerous, and